7 types of income millionaires have. How the rich make money. Have you ever heard the statistic that the average millionaire has 7 sources of income? I'm trying to find surveys, reports, or employees that repeat these statistics but can't. That said, 7 sounds great to me. More importantly, how do we get it? If you want to jump ahead, here are some great passive income ideas. The suggestion for this blog post was an idea from a friend of mine at ESI Money, where he talks about how the first million is the hardest. ESI shares how his net worth accelerated. The first million takes 19 years of work. The watch starts when it starts working, not at birth. But the second million only takes 4 years and 9 months. The more money you have, the more money you will get. 1% of $100 is just $1. 1% of $100,000 is a huge amount. The rich are really getting richer. Here's the guide. Active income vs passive income. Let's start by talking about making your money or earnings. There are 2 types of income, active and passive. Active income is when you work and are paid for the work. When you work at McDonald's, you are paid for the hours you work. When you work in an office, you may not use hours, but you get paid after work. If you do nothing, you will not be paid again. Passive income is when payments are not directly related to active work. Interest and dividends are great examples of passive income. A typical passive income source is burdened by active work, where you receive a small amount while most of the income comes later. Don't confuse passive income with zero work. It still works, it's just that your income is not directly related to the hours worked. Anyone who owns a rental apartment knows that it is passive income, but there is a lot of work to be done. The work is tough upfront, but if you're lucky, you can collect rent checks for months without incident before you have to get the job done. For example, my friend Paula shares monthly real estate investment reports. In March 2016, she profited $7,461 on less than 6 hours of work. In July, she spent 3 weeks and $13,648 renovating a rental to increase her yearly income by $4,740. Rental income is passive, but it requires work. How do you accumulate wealth? This is the key to the next puzzle. The keys to the accumulation of wealth are simple. Sell your time for money, spend less than you deserve, invest your savings so that they grow without your active intervention. That's it. It's a simple input and output problem. There is only one limit to the whole system: your time in this world. You only had 2.21 billion heart attacks at 60 beats per minute. That's a little over 70 years. Every rhythm counts. There is one more caveat, and here wealth inequality reduces some of its ugly head and is known as Maslow's hierarchy of needs. You must eat. You need a place to sleep. Both needs require money. So, in an ideal world, you could take the time to build a very successful business, or maybe a few failures before major success. But in the real world, you need a job that pays you now to be able to support yourself. Get dressed and find a place to sleep. I call it financial gravity. If you want to really start tracking your finances, and I mean not just your spending but your investing, that's where wealth is built. Give personal capital a look. It's a cornerstone of my financial system, and I think you owe yourself a look. 100% free too. You are subject to financial gravity. Think of your net worth like an airplane. You try to lift it up to the sky and it rises easily. On Earth, we are all subject to the same gravitational force. The bigger you are, the more power there is in your body. If you weigh nothing, you will fly. In financial terms, all of our net worth aircraft are subject to the same financial appeal. Where do you choose to live? How do you want to live? What products to buy, etc. You will determine how big and heavy your plane is to accommodate all of these things. The greater the need, monthly expenses, the more traction, income you have to attract. Your net worth plane takes off when your thrust, revenue, exceeds gravity, cost. Additionally, there will be a transition point where it looks less like an airplane and more like a missile. Here, passive traction plays a bigger role than active traction. We expect your investments to increase to the extent that they affect your wealth the most, and your income and savings, income minus expenses, play a lesser role. This transition point can be challenging to navigate, but also very liberating. Grow your active income first. If you don't have other resources, focus on active sources of income, jobs, first until you save enough to be able to accumulate passive resources. As for the idea of saving, there are 2 schools of thought. More efficient, this school focuses on living frugally and keeping costs to a minimum. Earn more, this school focuses on earning more on sub-subjects, doing business, etc. This is a false dichotomy. You can do both, and you should do both. The difference is that costs decrease instantly, similar to active earnings, while earnings are more often a long-term gain, like earning more. The development of passive income sources. So you cut what you can now, for example, cut cable and get immediate savings to building your passive source. For example, invest your cable savings in dividends. The importance of saving money, especially early in your life, cannot be overstated. When you start with nothing or close to it, you are forced into active income. What you can save can be converted into passive income. If you don't save that active income, through your own choices or choices thrust upon you, you will be stuck in that phase forever. Many of those passive income sources, like qualified dividends and long-term capital gains, also get extremely favorable tax treatment. If you're in a low tax bracket, you may pay zero taxes on capital gains. If you are in a high tax bracket, it's only 15%, far lower than ordinary income tax rates. Here are 7 income streams for millionaires. 1. Earned income. Income from work is the money you make doing something or spending your time, the money you make from your job, the salary you get when you work for someone else. This is where the quality of life suffers the most because you are trading your time for money. In most cases, you will be paid enough work to remain unemployed. Obviously, JOB means more than bankrupt. The reason most people can't think of anything other than making money from work is because work gives you a relatively comfortable area. Unfortunately, this comfort zone becomes your greatest enemy and prevents you from living an extraordinary life. You will spend the maximum time of your life in this income stream and still never have enough money to live a truly wealthy life. 2. Profit income. The money you make selling is slightly more than it costs. For example, a company that sells its goods for profit, either in retail or wholesale as a trader or producer. To get a profit, you have to be an entrepreneur. You may need a large investment or start a small business to make a profit with a small investment. But it will also take some time, at least in the early stages, until you learn to use it really well and get rid of it. Entrepreneurship is a different way of thinking and the ability to take risks. 3. Interest income. It is a great passive income source that does not require your active participation after investment. Many doubt the seriousness of the wealth that interest income can generate, but when combined with the power of complications and the fact that it is truly the lowest risk passive income, this can beat any of the first 2 sources of income generation hands down. 4. Dividend income. This income is even better than interest income. He is just as passive, and not only that, he also makes you a shareholder in a company. This is the money you get in exchange for shares in the company you own. As an example, dividends that most companies pay at the end of the year. The better this source of income sounds, the more this source of income is ignored and neglected. 5. Rental income. This is the money you get when you rent out the property you own, such as a house or building. Now that income is better, but there are inherent drawbacks to this type of income when compared to the 4 types of income mentioned above. 6. Capital gains. This is the money you get when you add value to the assets you own. As an example, if you buy stock for $10 and sell it for $11, $1 is a capital gain. Or if you buy your house for $200,000 and sell it for $220,000, $20,000 is your capital gain. Different countries have different tax laws for capital gains. However, there are ways to avoid taxes. 7. Royalty income. This is the money you get when you allow someone to use your product, idea, or process. They make all the income, do all the hard work, and you get a small percentage of what they make. Like the video. Do not hesitate to share. It can make a positive impact on someone's life.